Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Marketing Made Great podcast. I'm kind of excited this week to have one of my friends here, Scott Williford. He's the CEO and founder of vLink Solutions. And besides being a self-proclaimed geek at heart and the leader of the technology initiatives at vLink, which produces roughly about 1,500 to 2,000 videos a year. He has a lot of different hats that he wears. So, Scott, many of us in our audience probably don't know who you are. And I was wondering if you would take a minute to kind of expand on who you are, what your background is, and a little bit about vLink and when it got started back in 2010.
Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur and I keep looking for a 12-step program to get out of that, but can't find one. So I've just succumbed to my addiction.
Okay.
I started my first business in 1989, and mostly the things that I've done have been around technology and technology-related businesses. I exited a company fairly successfully in 2006. And then in 2009, I got an opportunity as a management consultant to work on a project for a private equity firm that included some video. And I said, wow, this is fun. And so we decided to look at some different business models around video marketing, video production, video hosting, and the technology around that. And today we're, just a little bit over 10 years old. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary in December. And
Cool.
Yes, you are correct. We produce 1,500, 2,000 videos a year. And then with the pandemic, we launched a virtual event platform.
Nice.
And interesting stats, and we might talk about this a little later, but our virtual event platform had 6,598 unique visitors, over 48 unique events.
Wow.
Totaling about 227 hours of content that was viewed, 26.4 million minutes from 70 different countries.
Oh my gosh, dude. We'll definitely want to talk about that a little bit more, but you gave me an opening line here when you said, when you saw video, you went, wow. What was the wow factor that you saw in video? Was it because it was easy to produce, or what was it that caught your mind or an eye?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been around a while. You've been around a while. They keep saying this year is the year of video and the year of video marketing. The reality is that it's not a new medium. It's been used for years.
Right.
It continues to expand and grow. The thing that excited me was really more around the business model that most production companies were following. Most production companies follow a cost per minute or project-based production, and very few of them actually answer the question of what do you do when the video is finished. And so what excited me was about applying professional service model to video production. I mean, I cannot do my job. My team cannot do their job without a camera. So why in the heck would there ever be a line item called camera rental when I can't do my job without a camera? And then the second thing is that because of my technology background, I wanted to be able to answer the question of what do you do with the video now? And so we've got several, hundreds and thousands of hours of software development into a product that is our proprietary video marketing platform. It hosts over 10,000 videos and has streamed as many as 500,000 views in a month.
Oh, wow. I want to talk a little bit about that in a minute, but video technology has changed a lot over the years. I mean, I remember in college, my example of video was I used to carry the reel-to-reel deck as I would, film something. Now my smartphone is probably just as good, if not better, than one of the high-end production cameras that you see nowadays. Now it's part of everyday life. Video is, but companies still are a little hesitant to embrace this technology, or they'll put their feet in just a little bit and they won't embrace it. Why do you think that is? Is it the technology, or what do you think the fear is?
Well, I think one of the things is that video is complex. Even though the technology is improved, people expect and want a very high production value. And to get a high production value at a cost-effective price point requires a system, a process.
Sure.
And so while technology has certainly changed and made it easier, I mean, I'm in our studio right now. We have a couple of cameras pointed at me, well lit. I've got a boom mic. Everything that we're shooting in here is in 4K.
Right.
And you can do that on a smartphone. It still requires a good amount of knowledge around lighting and audio and shot selection. But even before that, there's the complexity of how do we write a good script? And, do I script it or do I just have an interview?
Right.
And I think clients get bogged down in some of those technical details. And thus the reason that companies like mine exist is
Sure.
we give them an easy button. And so the whole idea is that while video is complex,
Right.
but it's also the most engaging medium available to businesses today. And so if you're going to use video, you should be using video, you've got to figure out where you're going to use it and how you're going to use it. And my standard answer is that if you're going to do one, why don't you do 20? You really don't want to do just one video and be done. Because it is an ongoing process.
No, I agree with you on that, but and we'll get into that in a little bit in a minute. But what do you think video brings to the experience that you can't get from a print ad or audio or from a web page? What is it about video that makes it dynamic?
Well, the reality is that for millennia, and even from the beginning of mankind up until the printing press, the only form of communication was face-to-face communication.
Right.
Stories were told around campfires. They were told around in synagogues and churches, and that's how you heard the news. That's how you heard stories. The act of storytelling has always been around. You invent the printing press, and all of a sudden now we have a medium that we can stamp those stories. And so it kind of took us away from the medium that we've been doing, which is face-to-face.
Sure.
So now that internet bandwidth is not an obstacle, and as you said, the technology for capturing video is dropped, I think that the combination of those two, we're actually going back to our roots,
right,
which is face-to-face communication. Humans are made to be in relationships with other humans, and therefore by putting humans on camera, even though it's one way, we do begin to connect. There's actually a social cognitive theory, I think is what it's called. I like to say it's a I feel like I know you effect. And if you think about the TV shows, the newscasts that you watch, or the sportscasts that you watch, over a period of time, you feel like you know those people. You don't know those people. You just see them all the time.
Well, and that's a good point, Scott, because when people ask me about what's the power in video, I always tell them, in order to gain trust of a customer, they have to see you, hear you, and know you. And video presents that in a very easy form for them to see who they're dealing with, what the product looks like up close and personal, literally from their phone. So it makes it real cost effective for that. Would you agree that using
can I add something to kind of go back to your other question? One of the things we hear a lot from clients is that I have a face for radio. And I go, so do you never meet your clients face to face? And they always say, well, of course. Now in the COVID world, it's Zoom to Zoom,
right?
But or Teams or whatever you use,
right?
But prior to COVID, people still did business shaking hands and met each other. And so when somebody tells me they have a face for radio, I'm like, so do you wear a mask or not go and meet clients?
Right.
Absolutely, they do.
Sure.
And so they just got to get over themselves a little bit.
Right. I mean, nobody likes to hear their voice. Okay.
Right. Right.
and nobody likes to see their face plastered on a video. But, and I know you guys do this probably, I'm sure, in the studio. When you get a client that's never been on video before, usually after working with them for 15 to 20 minutes, all of a sudden they forget the camera's there and their true personality shows up.
Yeah. And really, one of the things that we tell people all the time is that when you're talking to a camera like I am, do the same things you would if that was a person sitting there, smile and nod and
Sure.
be real. And you may actually want to amp up your personality a little bit.
Sure.
There's some tricks that we've learned in producing as many videos, and we coach a lot of executives who don't think they can do it, and we make them look as good. I mean, you can only polish a turd so well. So some people still have a face for radio, but we do our very best to make them look professional, to make them come across intelligent.
Sure.
We try not to use the adage, it can be fixed in post, because that's more costly. And then instantly it becomes a edited piece that's not as authentic. So, depending on the needs, you solve the problems based on that, but you're absolutely correct.
So if you're sitting down with a new client and they've got a limited amount of budget and they can only do, let's say, 3, maybe 5 videos, what 3 to 5 videos would you recommend they start with?
There's not a straightforward answer for that, Mark.
Okay.
To be transparent, we often have a client come to us and say, we want a showcase video about our company.
Right.
And I immediately say, well, my team says, what is your objective? Who's the audience?
Right.
So what we want to know is, who are you trying to get to watch this video and how are they going to find it?
Right.
We see a lot of clients that do those about us, those showcase videos. But in most cases, we work with our clients to say, look, if you've got a limited budget, then let's think of where the 4 or 5, 6 different places you could put video and who's going to see it there. And then think about what the objectives are we're trying to get that audience to do. And then based on that, we'll craft the message, we'll storyboard the message, and we'll determine the production capability. A lot of times it's say, hey, look, we've got to educate people on our product. People don't understand our product. And so we'll go, well, let's do a series of videos, because there's a client that we did some work for not too long ago. Company's been around 20, 25 years. They're in the telecommunications space, and their software technology, their call center technology is very wide and very deep. Lots and lots and lots and lots of features.
Right.
Too much to consume. So what we said was, let's prioritize the use cases of those features.
Sure.
And then let's create real world vignettes using on-camera talent to talk about why that feature solves a problem, and then show the product. And as a result, we ended up with like 47 videos.
Oh, wow.
And the salespeople, they're in a call with somebody, and the guy says, hey, my biggest problem is staffing, leveling my staff out to meet my call center leads. And so on camera, the on-camera talent says, when I was running the call center before I had this product, we had a challenge with managing our staff. Let me show you how this product solved the problem. And then they turn and look at their computer, and then we show a screen capture.
Right. Exactly. And you're right, because, video captures people's attention. It helps them gain brand awareness, drives purchases, and it actually influences the overall sales funnel. What are some of the key components that a video should contain in it? I mean, obviously a nice intro and how to get a hold of me, but what do you see? I know it depends on the content, but what are some of the key components that it should have in your mind?
Well, I think every time you're telling a story, you need to use emotion. And so you always want to go to the emotion of the viewer.
Right.
And so most of the time when we're working with clients is we spend a lot of time on determining how to deliver the emotion they're feeling today and the emotion we want them to feel by knowing us or using our product.
Okay.
And so you always want to put the problem first, put that emotion first. And so that's kind of the intro, the warm up, whatever.
Okay.
We really try hard to tell our clients that nobody cares what you sell. They want to know what you solve for them.
Right.
And so let's not tell your story, let's tell their story. And so we
Exactly.
try to put that in terms around that.
Fantastic.
As far as like call to actions come, it really depends on what the strategy is for that piece of content. We're
Okay.
doing a project right now for an MPO, and it's a very targeted video to a very select group of targeted C-suite executives. And so we're making a very strong call to action at the end. We want to partner with you. Contact us now. But then other stuff, we go, hey, to learn more, please spend some more time on our website.
Right.
So it all depends on the audience and where the video is going.
Okay. All right. So you've produced this fantastic video for me and my company. Okay. Now what? What do I do with it? Where do I put it? How do I utilize it to gain momentum for my business?
So every one of our clients, whether it's a virtual event or it's a video production, we take them through what we call ideation, strategy, and then production. So let's ideate all the best ideas that we can come up with. What are the content types, the topics? Then let's come up with a strategy for distribution. So for example, one of our bigger clients that we did about 160 videos for last year,
Right.
all of their content was going into an LMS tool. So we knew that on the front end, it was all going in an LMS tool. So because we knew it was going in this learning management system, that we said, okay, we can extend the length of every video a little bit because the audience has to watch it. They're learning. And then because of that, we structured the content around the overall course material. But then we have another client that the strategy is, hey, we're trying to do top of the funnel sales stuff. And so when you're doing top of the funnel sales stuff, then you want to think, okay, this video has got to be short enough that people will watch it on their phone or watch it when they're scrolling through LinkedIn or Facebook. And therefore you just have a different, so again, ideation strategy before you ever roll a camera. The worst thing that someone can do, and the one piece of advice that I would give you, is don't know where your video is going to go before you produce it. You need to know where it's going to go. Once the video's done, then in our case, then we have our own video marketing platform that hosts the video. It manages the distribution. It's integrated with LinkedIn. It's integrated with Facebook. It's integrated with YouTube. It has detail and deep dive analytics so that we can actually tell you who watched it, when they watched it, how much they watched it, so that then you can go back to your ideation. So it's a cycle: ideation, strategy, production, hosting, distribution, analytics. What was good? Work it, do it again. Wasn't good? Let's change the process.
Okay, cool. I want to shift gears a little bit now, Scott. I mean, something that's always fascinated me about you and what you've done this year during this pandemic is you pivoted a little bit. You did vLink live events or vLink events. Can you give me kind of a quick overview what vLink events is all about?
So put it in the context of a story. So we've been doing live streaming since 2013. And every year that we've done live streaming since, we've increased the number of hours that we've streamed. In 2019, we probably streamed about 100 to 120 hours of content.
Okay.
Enter the pandemic. It was a natural thing for clients to call us and say, hey, we've got to go virtual. Will you help us live stream a high quality webinar, high quality Zoom call, or live stream it to some other platform? In the context of that, one of our clients had us start to investigate different virtual event platforms. And I started looking at these platforms and realized that some of them were outrageously priced. And I said, we can create our own that includes high quality, full HD streaming, can have chat and push notification and audience engagement by going out and finding the best of breed technologies and then integrating them. I call it the Frankenstein approach. In the end, vLink events has been a huge success. It's essentially a virtual venue, and we price it like a venue. So you pay by the day. You need a
Okay.
main stage for a day, you pay by the day for the main stage. You need breakout rooms, 3-day conference, then the technology fees are all based on the number of days of your event. We don't care how many people come to your event. It doesn't
Oh,
cost
wow.
us any more the more people that come to an event.
Okay.
You know, we're sending zeros and ones up to the cloud, and then they're coming down. You know, so we
Good
want
point.
you to be successful. And so why should I charge you to be successful? You know, what I need to do is to make sure that your audience is engaged. And so we spend a lot of time with our clients in making sure that their run a show, their event has got high production value, going back to our roots of video marketing.
Right.
So vLink Events is a complete virtual event venue. It manages registration and login and access control. It has chat, it has video chat, it has Zoom call capabilities. It's got an exhibit hall. It does
Oh, wow.
virtual exhibits. Your exhibitors, you know, sponsor love is important, so your sponsors get a lot of benefit from it. And we kind of looked at each of the audiences, and every event, whether it's in person or online, has the event organizers, it has the attendees, and it has the sponsors and exhibitors. And
Okay.
we looked at each of their desired. Why would they have gone to the Galleria? And in most of all three of those folks, it's about community. And so what we wanted to do is to make this virtual venue feel as real as it could without it being over the top cheesy. But at the
Right.
same time, we wanted to give plenty of opportunities for them to engage with one another and engage with each other and with the speakers and sponsors. And so that's what we built. And we did 48 events last year on it. We've got our first event next week for 2021. I think right now we've got about 9 events already booked for the year,
Fantastic.
and expect to do, you know, at least until, you know, everybody feels comfortable going out. We just got off a call just a few minutes ago. We're doing 2 hybrid events in the next couple of months. You and I live in the state of Georgia. We're not
Right.
in complete lockdown, but there's still a lot of people that are not going out, and they're certainly not going out to large crowds.
Sure.
So what we're doing is we're doing some hybrid events, and those hybrid
Okay.
events allow us to stream the real event to a virtual platform and do both.
Oh, nice. That's kind of interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I want to kind of hit you with what I call the lightning round. 4 quick questions, and then we're going to start winding down a little bit here. You know, what is your favorite commercial of all time, or what's your worst commercial of all time? Or just do you not like commercials, or what is it?
So the reality is that most of us these days skip all the commercials, or we're binge
true.
watching Netflix. So here's what I will say: that the kind of commercials that I like are
Okay.
those that drive emotion and that really create a feeling, you know, create a positive feeling. Humor is a great emotion that I love. Commercials. I love the Geico commercials that are always kind of funny.
Sure.
But I also
Sure.
like the Coca-Cola commercials that make you cry and want to go share a Coke with someone. So
Sure.
I think that those commercials that drive emotions. The ones that I hate, well, I'll tell you, the number ones that I hate are the personal injury attorneys. Absolutely despise those commercials. Call me now. But you know, those that are all they're doing is talking about themselves.
Sure.
Or the commercials that you watch that commercial and you're done and you go, what were they selling? What company was that?
Exactly.
You know,
I
so
understand.
you know, those sometimes are very emotional, but the brand does a poor job of communicating what the brand is.
All right. So I got to ask this question then. What is your best video campaign that you spent the least amount of money on in time and got the most amazing results?
So we've done a number of campaigns for clients that have been very successful. But I'll talk about one that we've done for ourselves. And we're not, it's cobbler's kids have no shoes kind of situation.
Sure.
But we did a real short little video about how to leverage one-to-one, many-to-many, and one-to-many Zoom calls and virtual meetings at the beginning of the pandemic. And I just
Okay.
looked out of curiosity. We shot the video with no script, just talking right to the camera, the exact same set that I'm sitting in right now.
Right.
Took us about 20 minutes, a couple of takes. Post-production was easy. It was shot and released in the same day.
Okay.
And I think we got about 3,700 views.
Okay.
And so, that's a pretty good ROI on 20 minutes, maybe an hour and a half worth of post-production worth of work.
I understand. I understand.
It's all around, being spontaneous about it. I know that, I've talked a lot about us, and I apologize for that, but you're interviewing me. So, what's interesting is one of the things that we talk to our clients about is you need a video marketing partner, not a video production company.
Amen.
That's what we are for most of our clients, is we're their video marketing departments. And so when they have an idea like I did, they can come to us, and we've seen a number of clients call us up and say, I've got a video press release I need to do right now. And we're available to do it.
Right. Okay. We're going to start winding down a little bit. And I want, what are your top one or two new or emerging technologies that you're investigating or tracking right now?
Well, ironically, we touched on it a little earlier. So we obviously about 21, 22% of our revenue last year was all live streaming and virtual events. Now, we also did, several thousand hours of virtual production for training companies, but which we haven't really talked about. But this whole idea of going hybrid, I think it's going to be a pretty good while, Mark, before everybody's willing to go back to an event.
Agreed.
And so we are right now playing a lot with and using a lot of the live streaming tools, virtual sets, virtual aspects of that, but then tying it into NDI-enabled cameras and NDI-enabled products. NDI is a network display interface. It's a technology that allows me to take a single Ethernet line, plug it into a cost-effective production quality or broadcast quality camera with one wire, power over internet, stream off of that camera and control that camera remotely through the same Ethernet cable.
Oh, wow.
So we're playing a lot with that.
Cool.
I've got the first two on order. We've been playing with them. We've been playing with them a little bit at church, to be honest with you.
Sure.
And so we've kind of said, all right, we're going to make an investment and buy some for the company.
Okay. All right, cool. So what sort of books, blogs, podcasts, YouTube channels, or people do you follow for inspiration or just for some insight from time to time?
Well, when it comes to the storytelling side of things, you and I both are big Donald Miller fans.
Right, sure.
Building a story brand. If you're a marketer today and you're out there, or you're a storyteller of any types, you need to learn that story branding methodology and techniques.
Right.
When it comes to this whole new world of virtual, I'm watching probably 4 or 5 different YouTubers. Spend a lot of time on PTZ Optics, which is one of the manufacturers that has some really good content out there about educational content. OBS, which is an open source broadcasting software. Gosh, I bet I've watched 100 hours of content, and my team is, doing it as well. And then we're also watching some stuff that New Tech puts out, as well as stuff that vMix puts out.
Okay. All right. So if you could, who would you like to sit down with and discuss marketing, living or dead, and why?
Um, gosh, didn't know that question was coming, Mark. It would be Mark Treager.
Oh, settle down.
I really like Peter Drucker. I've read a lot of his
Okay.
stuff. I think he's a brilliant business guy.
Do you know Peter?
No, I do not.
I was going to ask
I've
for
had the
anybody.
opportunity to chat with and talk to Guy Kawasaki multiple times, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
cool.
another good one.
I've done that. Somebody that I would love to meet. He was one of my inspirations early in my career. Is Zig Ziglar. Of course, he's
I've
deceased.
actually met Zig. I've had lunch with him
Met it,
4
but
different times.
I know his nephew real well. He's the CEO
Oh, very
of
good.
Park Mobile. So
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
John
Okay,
Ziegler.
just a few more quick questions. What or I guess what are 1 or 2 nuggets that you could leave with our audience today to take away when it comes to video and video marketing?
If you're not doing it, you are behind.
Okay.
That's an obvious one. It's better to just go out there, even if you're on a super low budget, and do some stuff. Now you want it to be within your brand. So, don't be cheap if you
Sure.
have the money to do it right. It's always better to do it on brand. Another big thing, and you haven't talked about it, but we have 10,000 plus, maybe 11,000 or 12,000 videos on our platform, and they vary in length and they vary in use. But I will tell you that across all of those videos in our busiest month, the average viewer only watched 87 seconds.
Wow.
So when somebody tells me that they want to create a 3 to 5 minute video, I'm like, no, you don't. Nobody's going to watch it.
Good point.
And the other thing that's a rule of thumb is the longer the video, the higher the production value has to be.
Sure.
When you watch television, and if you pay attention to that, there's a camera angle, a change, a scene, a reverse look every 6 seconds or less.
Oh, wow.
And so when you think about that, and honestly, that's where a lot of people get hung up, is they're like, I want that level of production value. I'm like, okay, well, let's put that level of budget on it.
Right.
So business video is not quite that. We
Sure.
typically tell our clients that let's try to change something every 10 to 15 seconds, whether
Sure.
it's putting graphic on the screen or tightening the shot or going to a wide shot.
Sure. No, I understand. Oh, like you just did. Okay.
How about that for a verbal cue to the production
Boy,
guy?
your in-studio producer is like amazing to be that clairvoyant. So is there anything else that you would like to add concerning video, virtual events, or live streaming? Because honestly, you gave me a lot of good stuff, and I think our audience is going to be excited about this.
Well, we do this for a living, and I am a pay it forward individual. So what I would say is that if you're trying to learn or you want to get educated on video in any way, don't hesitate to call. I'll be glad to give you. Mark, you and I've shared a lot of ideas over the years that we've known each other, and that's my makeup. So if any of your listeners want to reach out to me, I'm sure you'll list my contact information. I'm certainly happy to do it.
Well, since a lot of our go ahead.
If I can't help you, I will tell you that. And if you can't afford me, I'll tell you that too, but I'll still help you.
Not a problem. Well, a lot of our audience is driving around. So give me your email address and your phone number and your website.
So vlinksolutions.com or thevideomarketingauthority.com. Both go to our video marketing company. I will tell you that we're updating that website. I don't know when you're going to publish this, but that website will be updated very shortly.
Awesome.
vLink events, that's VLINK events.com is our virtual event platform. And then vLink franchising.com, because we are franchising our
Cool.
business, is going to be up probably next week.
Awesome.
So we're excited about that. And then to reach me, just call my cell phone, 404-229-7669.
Okay.
If I don't recognize your number, you might end up in voicemail, but I promise I'll call you back.
Fantastic. Scott, I appreciate you taking the time to be, I know your schedule's very busy. And again, thanks for being part of the Marketing Made Great podcast today. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Mark.